friends, and welcome back to another episode of Rosten's Reviews. My name is Mr. Rosten, 7-4 social studies teacher here at BMS, and I'm very, very excited to bring you episode number 9 of Rosten's Reviews. So we had a great week in social studies this week. Let's review what we did and how we got there, and we'll talk about what's coming up in the future. So the first thing we did, friends, is we're good. First thing we did is we went over the Declaration of Independence. So we've had our peaceful protests. We have had the Boston Massacre. We feel like we're being mistreated. It is time for us as a colony and colonies to rebel. So first thing we have to do is we have to write the Declaration of Independence. So we looked at it and we learned how Thomas Jefferson was the main writer of the Declaration of Independence and how Ben Franklin edited it and sent it off to Great Britain to be looked at by King George III in Parliament. So we read about it and we learned that there are 4 parts of the Declaration. We have part 1, which is your preamble or your introduction. We then have part 2, which is our natural rights, which we believe as a country that these are rights that every person has. We then went through our list of grievances or the problems that we are having with King George and the Parliament, like, for example, taxation without representation, forcing us to house soldiers, things of that nature. And last, we have our Resolution of Independence, and we talked about how this is like a breakup letter or breakup note with Great Britain, right? For some of the classes, I read you that silly breakup note, and I ended it with, signed Thomas Jefferson and the boys, and it was a metaphor for how the Declaration of Independence was really just a breakup note between the American colonies and the British government. So we did that. Then we looked at the different battles of the Revolutionary War. So we started by watching a video of a battle. It was the Battle of Camden, and it was from The Patriot. And we watched and we saw how everybody lined up, and we talked about how, back in the day, you had your strongest, most experienced soldiers on the right side. In the middle was your middle experience, and on the left side was your weakest. And we talked about how people would line up gentlemanly and honorably, and then one side would fire, and then another side would fire, and then we'd run and come together, and things of that nature. So what we did is we looked at the different battles. We looked at Bunker Hill. We looked at Saratoga, which was the turning point of the Revolution. We looked at Yorktown, which was the final battle where the French had the British surrounded in the sea and in the bay, and then the American colonists had them surrounded on land. And we looked at the Battle of Camden and the Battle of Fort Ticonderoga, and your exit slip was to write which battle had the greatest impact on the American Revolution, and you gave me one reason why. So after we did the battles, we looked at the different people of the Revolution, and we learned about 6 different people. So I started off the lesson by showing you 4 people who we knew about, right? It was Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Ben Franklin, and John Locke. And I asked you the question, who do you think had the most impact so far? And so there was a bunch of good discussions talking about, maybe it was Jefferson because he wrote the Declaration, or maybe it was John Locke because without him writing common sense, we wouldn't have this belief in natural rights and natural laws. So we had a good discussion to start off the class, and then we learned about 6 different people. So we learned about Thomas Paine, Molly Pitcher, Nathan Hale, Salem Poor, Phyllis Wheatley, and Sybil Ludington. And so what we did is we wrote one or two positive qualities or traits for each person. We then wrote about an important life event or accomplishment during the Revolutionary War. And then we wrote down or drew something that would help us remember what this person did. All right, so we did that. That was an awesome lesson. And then some of you did Why the Colonists Won activity, but the rest of you started off with our study guide. All right, so here's the study guide. I've given you a paper copy. You have a copy on Google Classroom, so that way you can look at it. So my recommendation for this weekend is pretty simple. One, go through the study guide, answer as many questions as you can that you know the answers to. Then, what you're going to do is you're going to go to the questions that you might not know exactly. You're going to look through either Google Classroom, or you can watch my TikTok videos and find the answers to the questions, and be prepared for your test on Monday or Tuesday for period 6. All right? So, that is what we did in U.S. history this past week. So this is a friendly reminder that periods 2, 3, and 5, your test is on Monday. Period 6, your test is on Tuesday. And we're going to start, we're going to hold off on starting Unit 2 just a little bit, because we're going to do a quick little mini unit on the election. It's going to be a good unit. We're going to learn about how, the voting process goes. We're going to learn about who's running. We're going to learn about the election process. We're going to learn about the voting process. And we're going to do some sort of mini project to show your learning, which is going to be cool, instead of writing a 5-paragraph argumentative essay. So, yeah, that's what we did in U.S. history this week. Please remember, check out the TikTok channel, Coach Rosten 27, for your daily updates on what we learned in social studies. Please make sure to keep checking out Rosten Reviews on YouTube, on TikTok, wherever you get my content. Please continue doing it. As long as you guys keep viewing it and watching it, I will keep creating it. All right, friends? I hope you all have a great, great weekend. Study up. Come prepared for that test on Monday. And let's have a great week next week. All right, friends? Be kind to one another. Peace be with you and with you. Rosten out.